So you think Spanish conjugation is thousands of things to memorize, but it's actually patterns. So in this video, I'm going to show you those patterns and make learning Spanish conjugation 10 times easier. A lot of Spanish verbs are just prefix plus a familiar verb. The prefix changes the meaning, but the conjugation stays the same. So for example, we have the tener family. Tener means to have, and the present tense is tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, and tienen. Now look, we have mantener, which means to maintain. It's mantengo, mantienes, mantienen, mantenemos, and mantienen. All we did was change the prefix, and it's the exact same conjugations. Now this works for past, present, and future.
No tengo nada.
Me alegra que hayas recibido mi lechuza. Tenemos que mantener un perfil bajo y estar en silencio.
Another verb group we have is poner, which some prefixes are suponer and proponer. Then we also have traer, which some prefixes are atraer and distraer. As you can see, all of these verbs have the same endings. You're just changing the prefix, and they conjugate exactly the same.
La tengo.
Bien, tráela.
You'll also notice the split vowel pattern in a lot of verbs. This is where Spanish looks like it doesn't follow any rules, but in reality it still does. A perfect example of this is the verb entender. In the middle of entender, the E always splits into an IE, depending on the conjugation. So we have entiendo, entiendes, entienden, entendemos, and entienden. As you can see, entendemos did not change the E at all. Usually the nosotros form stays exactly the same with this pattern. Some other verbs that do this are pensar, querer, and empezar.
Pero deberían pensar.
Debemos salir de aquí, ¿me entiendes?
Sí. Ciérrala.
Another vowel that splits is O. Usually when there's a O in the middle of a verb, it turns into a UE. So for example, we have poder. Poder's conjugations are puedo, puedes, puede, podemos, and pueden. As you can see again, the nosotros form did not change at all. Some other verbs that do this are dormir, volver, and encontrar.
¿Me la puedo permitir?
Cuando podemos.
Another common change that'll really trip you up is an E turning into an I. And this happens with pedir. Pedir turns into pido, pides, pide, pedimos, and piden. Another verb that does this is servir. Honestly, with this pattern, you're just gonna have to remember which verbs do this, because honestly, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference between which ones split into IE and which ones just turn into an I. But that's still better than memorizing thousands of conjugations. I also want you guys to know that all these patterns have exceptions. So if there's a verb that you see that follows a pattern that I didn't say here, then it's an exception. I'm just making Spanish a little bit easier for you. These next patterns most people do know, but it's the AR, ER, and IR verbs. For AR verbs, we have hablar. Hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, and hablan.
Yo me encargo.
ER verbs, we have comer. Como, comes, come, comemos, and comen.
Qué bueno. Debemos entrar a la...
In IR verbs, we have vivir. Vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, and viven. Now, usually I result to these if I don't notice any of the weird verb patterns that I've noticed in the language before. So this is kind of like your last resort if you don't see any of those verb groups. You'll also notice you're going to be able to guess a lot of words in Spanish once you learn these verb groups, just because a lot of them relate to stem words in English. For example, the verb tener literally is the ending tain in English. So maintain, sustain, and obtain are all words in English that literally translate almost exactly. Just change it to tener and change the pronunciation. And yes, there can be slight spelling differences, but at the end of the day, you're still probably going to be understood or understand the Spanish word when said. Like sostener and sustain are so close that you could just guess what the word means. Which I just made a video on adjective and noun endings as well. So if you're trying to expand your Spanish vocabulary, definitely check that out, because you'll end up knowing at least 1,000 more Spanish words after you watch that. Spanish is all about patterns. Even spelling and pronunciation has patterns. The English PH sound turns into an F in Spanish. Philosophy is filosofia. Photo is photo. It's literally the same thing, just change the spelling. Or like how you notice a lot of English words that start with S never start with S in Spanish. It might start with a C, or it'll start with the E in front of it. Like escuela or científica for school and scientific. And by no means are these all the patterns that you will see in Spanish that I listed in this video today. This is just a start so that you can start recognizing them yourself. In all my videos, I try to break down Spanish from a very structural level, using video games as real examples. So if you want to see more of that, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.